Hi, I'm Kathy from Dee's, and today I want to show you a little bit on how to work with this product called Sinamay. This is a product that's a natural product made out of the abaca plant, and it has very strong fibers, so it works really well for making hats and elements that we can put on hats. It does have a sizing in it also, so that when you wet it and manipulate it, then dry it, it holds its shape. The one thing that you will not be able to do at home with Sinamay is create the actual hat shape like you're seeing here, or a typical hat shape, because you do have to have a wooden block and some other tools to do that. But what I do want to show you, there's so many things you can do with Sinamay, and there's just a couple little tricks that you need to know, and that's what I want to show you today. Because if you know these tricks, then it's going to be a lot easier to come up with something that you really like. The Sinamay comes by the yard. And you will, let's see if she can get a close up here. You can see that it runs this way and it's woven. So it's woven this way and this way, if that makes sense. And then this way would be the diagonal. So it cuts across all those lines. You need to work with Sinamay on the diagonal. Like I can't just cut a strip here and create something because it won't have the stretch that we need to have. And you'll see that in just a minute. So what we have to do is we have to take our yard of Sinamay and take opposite corners and bring them together. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to bring those corners together, and then we're going to come out here and we're going to give it a crease. And that's what's going to help us find our bias or diagonal. Now once we get that crease, we can do a couple things. What I'm going to show you is how to make a base out of the Sinamay without using a block for a fascinator. You want to measure it if you'd like, and you can mark it. I just usually cut it because it's pretty forgiving. So I'm just going to cut through both layers. Sometimes I'll just fold it like this so I can just follow that line. Now I have two more pieces here that are also cut on the diagonal, and I'll show you what we can do with those in a second. This piece, what I want to do is show you how this stretches because it is on the bias. We do dampen it, and I just use a water bottle. Sometimes if I'm desperate, I don't have my water bottle, I'll stick it under the faucet. But I really like a water bottle because it's not soaking wet. Once I put the water on it, I'm able to give it a stretch by pulling. This is my creased edge, and you can see how it's stretching all the way down. I'll show you what it looks like when I finish that. So now you see it's making more of an angle or a semicircle. It's got a nice edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one side or the other, doesn't really matter. It's dried out a little bit, you can mist it again. And I'm going to gather in my fingers. It's just pleating it or gathering it. I'm going to go all the way down. See what it's doing, making a ruffle all the way to the other side. And again, see the ruffle we're forming? When I get to the other side, I'm going to take my hair dryer, and now I'm going to dry it so it stays like this. Now you can see where those pleats will stay. So I'm able to gather it again. This time I'm going to gather these edges in all the way so I have a nice clean look. I know it kind of looks like a wadded up piece of Sinamay, but all we're just gathering the edges. And I'm going to dry it a little bit more. Now, let me get a head here. Now I can take this. I can put a headband and a disc on here so I have something to glue this to. And I can manipulate this. I can bring this up like this if I want, and bring all those raw edges into the center. If I want to shape this a little differently and it's dry, I can mist it again. So this gives you a nice little base that you can create your fascinator. You can add a flower, you can add some loops of Sinamay, which we're going to show you how to make in just a second, and it gives you a real easy way without a block of creating your own base. So I'm going to put that aside for just a minute, and I'm going to show you from this piece that we have left. You want to cut on the bias, so I want to cut some strips, which I've already cut, so they're going to look like this. And out of these strips, you're going to get them wet again. Yep, I was coming undone. And you're going to make a strip that looks like this. And the way that you do that, we're going to fold it in half. That gives us a crease to follow. Open it back up, and you're not going to be able to see that right now. There's a crease down the middle, and I'm going to fold both edges into the crease. The edges are going to meet. And then I'm going to fold it again. We are going to link 2 other videos to this post. One is going to be creating a fascinator that I'm going to show you in a second, and one's going to be able to showing you a little bit more how to make these strips and how to make a petal out of another piece. So you can go to that video and get a little bit more instruction on how to do this. But once we fold that piece, we could use it just like this, but it feels and looks so much better if you just give it a little stretch. Once you do that, I usually cut off these raw edges just so I know how long my pieces I have to work with. And with this, we can do loops for a bow. We can take your finger or something else, and you could curl it. Grab the dryer here. And now we have some little curls that we could add to our fascinator. Let's see what else we have to, and if you're going to do, and again, I'm going to send you to the other video. It's a little bit longer, tells you a little bit more about it. But if you want to try something like a leaf shape, cut your leaf out of this piece that we have left. And with this, you're going to fold the edges, and you're not going to see this real well. I'm just going to fold them down about 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to fold them again so that we have a nice finished edge. It's wet, so they're going to want to come unfolded a little bit, so just keep your fingers there. You can either take your hair dryer, you could also iron this with an iron, you could use a flat iron, but I'm going to just show you with the dryer. When we dry it, it's going to keep its shape and stay folded. Now I'm going to do the other side, and then I have a nice little leaf shape that I can use. Again, I can gather it here if I want and have a nice leaf shape that we can add elements to our hats. This is a larger piece. Same idea though. This piece right here from top to bottom is one long diamond shaped piece that we cut out of the Sinamay, folded our edges just like we did that little leaf, and then we can put that onto a pre-made Sinamay base. Right here we've added some loops that we just showed you how to make. So you can add all kinds of little elements that you've created. If you don't want to go that far into the Sinamay process, we do have this pre-made strip. This is very easy to use. This is what's here. Now this is narrower. That's what it looks like. It's narrow. It's the same product. What we're going to do, I'm only going to do 2 loops just so you can see it. I'm going to make a bow, gather it, and to make it easier to gather, you can go on and mist it. So, but I'm going to gather this, put a little covered wire around it, and then I'm going to pull these out. So it looks like a nice soft bow. And then while I pull them out, I'm going to dry them so they stay in this position. This comes in about 4 different sizes and maybe 8 different colors. And it is on the bias so that you can work with it very nicely. We also have a kit available, just a little beginner's kit. It has a piece of Sinamay, a headband, some feathers, and instructions on how to, what did I do with my, you can see it on the package. I didn't bring it out here. It will be in store. It's a picture of a fascinator that you can make using this little kit. This video is also going to be linked. You can follow the instructions on the paper, but you can also just go to the video and it'll show you how to make this. So that gives you a little tutorial on what you can do with this product. It does come in probably 20, 25 colors. It's called Sinamay. It comes by the yard. And a yard's enough to do really enough elements for a hat. So come in and check out these videos and enjoy working with Sinamay.